Tomorrow night is the board meeting. If you don't like to come tomorrow night, that's all up to you. Let's see, did I cover everything? All right. We're going to start with, hang on. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could all rise, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we could all have just a moment of silence in honor of the 9/11. Okay, thank you very much. Once again, this is John Soper from Coulee Frac. He will be the ringleader. So, John, Gaylord Olson is here. Excuse me. Gaylord Olson is here from Land Conservation. Dave is running the tape recorder, and the rest of the regime is up here. So, John, you're on.
Well, thank you all for coming tonight. I hope that you can hear me. So we'll talk as loud as we can. No, I'll do my very best. First of all, thank you for giving us an opportunity to come into the town hall and talk to you. I think and listen to you, hear what you have to say, get to know you, and I'll bet that I have left phone messages on some of your phones, and I've probably talked with some of you, and so. Somewhere during this process, if you want to take the opportunity to come up and shake my hand and tell me who you are, I'd love to put a name with a face. And so we'd love to meet you and talk about what we're thinking about, and listen to you, and see if we can make some sense out of all of this. I really want to give you just a kind of a brief. We want to give you a brief snapshot of who we are and what this is all about. As I was introduced, I'm John Soper, and I have two partners in this plan, in this development, and it's Greg Cashman and Doug Schmidt. And we have two of our consultants here tonight from Summit Enviro Solutions. They are the guys who have taken our ideas and have, in the way that they design a sand site, they have truly reflected what our values are. And I think as we go through the presentation, I think you'll see by the way they do things and by the way they plan the reclamation, I think you'll see the value that we place on the land and the value that we place on leaving it in a way that is responsible. And so, you know, as I was thinking about how I'd introduce this tonight, I really wanted to, first of all, tell you a little bit about where we've been and who we are. My experience is primarily in construction. And I've been building houses and developing commercial and residential property for a long time. I actually started swinging a hammer when I was in the 9th grade. So I have designed my first house when I was in the 10th grade. And I can't believe it, they actually built it. And it's still standing. And so, you know, that's my experience. You know, I was thinking about when I saw you all sitting out here tonight, I was raised a pastor's kid. My dad's a pastor. Now, I promise not to preach, because you didn't come to sit here in church. But it kind of feels that way a little bit tonight, because I remember he stood up here, and there were lots of people out there. And I said I would never become a preacher, but tonight we're going to just maybe not preach a little bit, but just tell you a little bit about who we are. And so my experience is building and development. Greg is a registered architect, and you know, Greg and I started talking back many months ago about the fact that the building industry, building and construction, because of the economy, has been decimated. And there are millions of people that were in the construction trades and business that are no longer employed in that industry. And many of them, millions of them, aren't even employed today. And so that's, you know, that's our experience. And we were talking about what what are we going to do? You know, we've designed and built houses and buildings and properties for many years, and we even looked at looking at North Dakota. And because up in North Dakota, because of fracking, because of the oil that they have found in the Bakken region in North Dakota and Montana and Canada, there's a mini boom going on up there. And some of you have heard about that. Truck drivers, they pay truck drivers that don't even own their truck over $100 grand a year because of the enormous amount of business. And so we were talking a little bit about that. What are we going to have to do? We're going to have to move our families to North Dakota in order to make a living. You know, one of the things we discovered as we searched through the information and did our research, we discovered what most of you know, what some of you know, and that is that some of the finest frac sand, which makes all that possible, all over the United States, what makes that possible, some of the finest frac sand in North America is right here. It's right here in southwestern Wisconsin. More importantly, it's right here in Jackson County. And we're going to talk about the fact that it's right here in Franklin Township. And so as we talked about that, we said, hey, maybe what we need to do is look around and see if we can find a site that is suitable to set up a sand pit, extraction site, frac sand site, whatever you want to call it. And so we started looking at properties. The property that we settled on was what you may know as the LaBoose property. It's a property almost 2/3 of the way up Wharton Ridge. I'm starting to learn some of these terms and names right on County Road N. And one of the reasons we like that site is because that site, we noticed as we looked into it further that it's been a gravel and rock pit for, I think, since the Depression era. It's also a site that has been, a lot of timber has been taken off the site. It's a site that we thought would fit very well in continuing that type of use for the property. And so that was one of the reasons that we liked it. As we tested it, we found that it does have a valuable deposit of the very best type of frac sand. It's close to the surface. That's good. Don't have to go that deep in the ground to get it. And that's one of the things that we wanted to be able to do, was to find a site that was suitable for that. And so we talked to our friend Doug Schmidt, and he is the third partner in it. Doug is his experience, he's an engineer and a businessman, and we're all good friends. And we decided to take on this venture, and that really brings us to tonight. And so in that process, we have come to Franklin Township. You know, we came for several reasons. One of the reasons that we came was to be able to really, quite frankly, as we said, to provide for our families. I know that you and us, we've all owned property that has provided for our families. Farmers do it the same way. They provide for their families through working the land. And loggers and timber people do it the same as well. Provides for their living, provides for their families when they take the timber off of a site. And they reclaim it. They replant it, and it continues to produce. And so we did, that was one of the motivating factors for us, and that was to find a way to provide for our families. And one of the other things that really excited me about it, and I know excites my partners about it, and that is the fact that we weren't just giving lip service to the fact that we don't think that we as a nation should be buying our oil from the very people that are sworn to our destruction. You know, when I was thinking, I don't think it's any accident that we're doing this little meeting here on 9/11. And I bet most of you know where you were and what circumstances in your life were going on when you first learned about what they did, what Muslim terrorists did to us on 9/11. But I remember where I was. And, you know, I